Howdy, y'all. Um, Thanks for joining. I'm going live a little early just to warm up a little bit before the debate. This is our second debate. The first debate didn't go as the plan. I had spoke to Garland. You guys, is my sound okay? I spoke to Garland several times before our first debate, making sure he was wanting to do a debate in good faith. And he showed up, and he did a pretty good effort at showing me that he was willing to do a debate in good faith. But then he showed up to the debate not wanting to do a good faith debate and just wanting to trash vegans and generalize us and attack build straw man. He started arguing other vegan points that I wasn't making, or that we didn't believe in, and just wasting time, and kind of spent most of the time trying to convince us that just talking off of premise, and it was just kind of like, for the most part, the first debate was to get him to show his hands and see what exactly he says, and to get his citations from him. He sent me, several citations, about 40 citations, that is pretty much the embodiment of what he believes in. So, this just started today, really. The first debate was just kind of a feeler. But I'm just going to be kicking back. It's a little early. The debate's not for another 28 minutes or something like that. But thank you for showing up. And thank you for the support. The other funny thing was, this isn't the photo I sent the Crucible. And my name's not Jeff Phillips, it's Jeffrey Phillips, and he didn't write down the correct premise. But the real premise is, a plant-based diet versus animal-based diet. What does more harm to the environment? And we spent 2 hours on a video discussing, nailing down that premise. So that is the premise. It's the same premise that it was before the first debate and all that stuff. So anyway, we will, I'm just going to kick back a little bit. Thanks for coming.
Hey, Jeffrey, I see you popped in the studio. You can hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up if you can. Okay, cool. Just hang tight, guys. I'll bring you up in just a second. Just setting a few things up in the backdrop here. All right, how we doing, fellas?
Hey.
Okay, we're gonna have to equalize these mics. I can already tell. So, give me a test 1, 2, real quick, Jeffrey. Okay, and then Garland Farms.
Check. 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
All right, 1 second here, guys. I got control of your mic, Jeffrey. I'm gonna put it on 100. So it was at 200%. Same thing here with you, Garland. And then we're gonna do that same test again. I don't know yet. One second. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then Garland Farms.
Check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Check. Testing 1, 2,
Okay,
3.
you guys are within like 0.5 decibels of each other. It's perfect. So that's where we want to be. All right, cool. So there'll be a little bit. You guys remember a little bit of intro music as the lobby fills up, and then I'll come out, say a few words, and then there'll be the actual intro to the show, and then we'll dive into the debate. Couple of quick things, just so we don't end up with any problems tonight. Do we have the proposition nailed down? Do we know what we're talking about? Okay, Garland.
I think.
Okay.
Well, I'm not exactly sure. He says it's the same thing that we did last time.
Okay, so that was sustainability on the environment of a vegan versus meat diet. Is that correct? Okay. Is that what you're? Okay. And does that sound like a good proposition to you, Garland? Is that what you want to get into? Okay.
Sure.
All right, great. All right, guys. Then we're going to put you in the background for right now. There's a little bit of background noise because my heater's on, but you won't hear much of it. So, and we'll get moving here shortly. Appreciate you being here, Jeffrey. Too over on Twitter, link over anything that you might want me to post for your channel, anything like that, and we'll get it up underneath the broadcast. Yeah, no problem. And I think we've got all of GF's info as well. So, all right, guys, we'll get moving here in just a few minutes. All right, enough of that shit. Got to get this thing moving this fine evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome back to the Crucible. I'm your host, Andrew Wilson. Tonight, we've got Jeffrey Phillips going back up against Garland Farms. I'm looking forward to this debate for no particularly good reason, but I do have the Kylo Ren sweatshirt on, so I expect that this may get blood sporty. I have no idea. But I've got front row seats, beer in hand. It ought to be a good night. Now, remember, Tuesday, we're going to have the 10K subscriber party, right? The 10K party. Going to be lots of beer, lots of pizza, lots of trash talk. It's going to be an extravaganza to remember. I'm sure all of you guys are going to enjoy being there. Only Meat Lovers Pizza for that. That's it. I can't do the fucking fruit and the shit, on the I can't do it. I can't. It's impossible. Anyway, we're going to get this thing moving. Be right back in a minute. Both of our debaters. What the fuck? Oh, it's still put to loop? For real? What the fuck? So, someone always fucking with the settings. Bastards are always fucking with the set. I'm blaming somebody else. Anyway, Jeffrey Phillips, Garland Farms. Nice to have you guys back right here on the Crucible. A couple things, maybe interesting things. I don't know. But I have actually been looking forward to this. We were the back. We did make sure we got the proposition this time taken care of, so there wouldn't be any problems going forward, right? So this ought to be good. Jeffrey, why don't you take a second first, introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about yourself briefly, and where they can find you. You're muted, Jeffrey.
My name is Jeffrey Phillips. I'm a former musician and I guess a vegan activist now. My YouTube is youtube.com/@JeffreyPhillips. And that's about it.
Yeah, you're still muted, dude.
Oh shit. I'm still muted. Hold on one sec. Audio.
Off to a swimming fucking
Check.
start.
Check.
Off to a swinging start already.
Check. They're fucking me right now. They say I'm there. I'm there. What's going on? You guys can't hear me?
I can hear you.
They can hear me on the air.
Your microphone by accident?
No, yours. They can hear me on the air.
I can't hear you, man. I don't know what you're saying.
I'm on the air.
There's a private chat
the
over
air
on the right
hear
hand
me.
side. You can
They
type
can
in
hear
what
me
you said.
on the air. They can hear me. You can't hear me.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
You can't
guys
hear me,
you
but
can hear
on
me,
the
I'm
air they
guessing?
can.
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. How's that?
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you.
Me, but I got no audio from you. Dude.
In the chat. They can hear me. They can hear me.
And we just had it like 2 minutes ago.
His name tag says that the mic is muted. I believe that's what it indicates.
Check.
Yeah,
Check.
it's muted, but there's nothing I can do. I can't unmute it because it says the
There.
guest chose to mute the mic. So you're muted on your end. Maybe click the three. There's like 3 little tabs up at the top right of your panel box. Click that and see if you can click unmute.
Check.
See
Can you hear me out there?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's coming through live.
It is coming through
Maybe
live.
you should leave and come back.
My voice
Yeah,
is
try
coming
that.
through live. How?
Pop
Oh,
out of
okay.
the
Hold on
studio
one
real
sec.
quick.
StreamYard, private chat. Hold on.
Yep, no problem.
One word.
It's 2 syllables. 2 syllables.
They can hear me on the air.
Crucible is currently experiencing technical difficulties.
They can hear me on the air.
Leave
There he is.
Oh,
there you
okay.
go,
There he
you go.
is.
Yeah, they heard
got
me on
you.
the air the whole
We can hear
time.
you. Dad,
There might
I
be
have
something
no-
wrong
I
on
have
your
no
end.
clue, dude.
Because they heard it was coming through the feed. Weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
cool.
Anyway,
Sorry about that.
No, we were. It's no problem. It's all good. Anyway, let's try this again. Jeffrey Phillips, tell everybody where they can find you. Briefly, a little bit about yourself.
My name is Jeffrey Phillips. I'm a former musician and current activist. My YouTube is youtube.com/@JeffreyPhillips.
Okay, and then Garland Farms. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, my name is JD Garland. I am a livestock farmer, a little bit of cattle, more goats. I'm in Central Texas. I've got a YouTube channel under the title of Garland Farms, where I put out a lot of information about the harmful effects put out by the crop agriculture that develops the products that end up on the vegan menu. I also do live streams every week over on Jason John Swartz channel, so you can find me over there as well. But I've got about 200 plus videos on veganism over on the Garland Farms channel if someone wants to check those out.
All right, excellent. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you each, again, 7 minutes for your opening statement. You don't have to take all that time if you don't want to. You can take as much of it or as little of it as you want. Before we get in the back and forth, there's going to be call-ins tonight, and there's going to be super chats read. So strap yourselves in. You're going to be here for a little while in this debate. Happy to have both of you here. Jeffrey, you're the challenger in this.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you open first, but that's good because you get to close last. So go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right. In our first debate, JD spent 90% of the 2 hours we had here trying to convince us that the soy industry is driven by the human consumption of soy oil. He said that soy oil came first and that the meal was a worthless byproduct that used to be burnt. Contrary to Garland's claim, soybeans were first introduced to North America in 1765 as a forage crop for livestock. For the next 155 years, the crop was grown primarily for a forage crop for livestock. It wasn't until the 1900s that vegetable oil was used in industry. In 1950s, that soy was used in food. One problem with using soy plants as forage was that it had to be fed sparingly to the livestock because the high fat content of the oil, around 15% of the bean is oil. Because of this, farmers also cows didn't like the taste of it because it was kind of bitter when it was raw. Because of this, the farmers started cooking and defatting the bean to make it less fattening and a better tasting for the cow. This allowed much more soy to be fed to the cow, thus causing the boom in soy crops worldwide. Soy meal never in history has been looked at as a byproduct of the soy oil industry like Garland claims. Some places, including soyinfocenter.com, consider it a byproduct of the meal. Soy oil is a byproduct of soy meal. from the animal agriculture industry. Therefore, the responsibility of the crop deaths fall on the animal ag industry. It is a byproduct, or at best, a co-product. The amount of soy oil in the world is based primarily on demand for soy meal for the animal agriculture industry. There's no unique attributes to soy oil compared to the other plant-based oils, meaning there is zero specific reason to demand a soy oil, specific soy oil. A demand of vegetable oil would be filled by any other, likely more sustainable plant oil instead of producing soy to turn into oil. Garland's constant comparing of soy meal to pecan husk is patently false and intellectually dishonest, as pecan husks are byproducts. And soy meal is the primary product, or at best a co-product of soy oil. Garland also emits data about crop protection. Garland loves using wild boar videos getting killed as arguments against vegans, but it turns out that wild boars were introduced to North America by the animal agriculture industry as food. He left out the part where wild boars are the most detrimental and invasive animals in the USA, averaging $1.8 billion of crop damage annually. How many millions of native foxes, raccoons, coyotes, wolves, and other animals that are killed daily to protect chicken coops, cows, goats, sheep, etc., etc. Garland claims hunters hunting around crops are doing so to protect crops, but in reality, these hunters would likely be hunting there no matter what crop was there or not. In a vegan world, there would be zero animal beings being killed for crop protection. These vegan farmers would understand, accept, and even welcome the idea of seeing a small loss to the local animals. Garland spent the remainder of our time talking about pecan husks and denying the validity of our meta-studies we sourced. Garland claimed a conflict of interest in our Our World in Data study because one of the 7,000 financial contributors to this study is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation website. Our livestock investments support smallholder livestock keepers in Africa and Asia in their efforts to sustainably raise healthy product animals. Our hundreds of millions of families across Africa and Asia, livestock are the most valuable household asset and an irreplaceable source of nutrition, of a nutritious diet, especially for children. With regional demand for livestock products rapidly growing, access to better feed, broods, veterinary services will be critical to managing sustainable products on smallholder farms, as well as ensuring that smallholder livestock can increase household income, improve nutrition, expand economic opportunities for women. Clearly, Bill Gates is not a pro-vegan or against animal ag, so I really don't see any conflict of interest by using one of the highest caliber studies that mankind has right now as a resource simply because of a rich guys trying to make us vegan conspiracy theory. In a real debate, you can only dismiss a study based on bad methodology. You either need to point out the bad methodology error or accept the study. And then in a strange turn of events, Garland used Our World in Data as a resource during his last debate with Vegan Gains. So clearly he thinks it's a credible source of data. Our oceans are like the largest source of oxygen in the world, and we kill trillions of ocean-based creatures for food, completely throwing off the balance of nature in a way that is massively detrimental to humans now and in the future. JD also brought up like 7 times that vegans are responsible for the majority of crop deaths, which makes 0 sense considering 3% of the population of the world is vegan. Therefore, we can only conclude that the animal-based diet is overwhelmingly responsible for the amount of harm done to the environment, because 100% of those products that come from animal ag and 90% of the products that come from plant ag are consumed by animal-based dieters. Hell exists in war and factory farming. If we're going to talk about harm, we can't forget talking about war. War kills everything and everything: crops, vegans, carnists, rabbits, mites, everything. Where in our lives do we see killing being okay? In war and animal agriculture. As long as humans continue this psychopathic tradition of death, we will fail to understand our potential to use compassion in a way to end the intentional death of all sentient beings under all circumstances. Incidental harm to the environment will always be connected with human existence. That's why it's important for us to debate these topics in good faith. If we expect to progress as a human species and make an attempt at world peace, the easiest way for us to do that is to stop intentionally killing animals for food. Once we're ready to admit that animal deaths and suffering is wrong, the next obvious and easy step is to admit that killing humans under any circumstances is wrong. And with that, I'll leave you with a Leo Tolstoy quote: "As long as there are slaughterhouses, there will always be battlefields." I yield the rest of my time.
All right. Well, I mean, right down to the wire, man. Perfect. Garland, go ahead whenever you're ready. You have 7 minutes on the clock.
Okay, as I understand it, this is basically your typical hypocrite critique. Is that what I get?
No, I don't know what that is.
Don't get the joke, do you?
You think I'm Nutrivore?
No, I get the joke. I get it. No. He's clowning on the. He's clowning on the guy who came on last time, right? It was.
Andrew
funny.
Andrew was having a small heart attack.
You could have just answered the question.
Yeah. Well, let him get to his own.
Yeah.
Let him get to his own. Go ahead, Garland.
Okay. Let's see here. Where to start? First of all, I'll cover this incidental harm thing. Vegans always claim incidental harm when gunmen are out there in the apple orchards shooting crows in the face for getting too close to the fruit. That's not incidental, that's intentional. Same thing with the pesticides. That side at the end, that's a suffix. It's spelled CIDE, and it means to kill. So those pesticides that put the items that end up on the vegan menu on the shelf, those are intentionally placed, and they're all petroleum derived. So you run out of petroleum, then you're going to have to go out there and kill them with your bare hands. And you will end up killing them because your food requires it. Which brings us to killing animals for food. Jeffrey's accusing us of killing animals for food. However, crop agriculture is constantly killing animals for what? Food. What happens if they don't kill those animals? Then the vegans won't have any food. Which brings us to the claim that I was saying that vegans are responsible for all crop deaths. I never said that. That's a blatant lie.
Said majority.
What I said is that the crop agriculture that provides the items on the vegan menu are responsible for crop deaths, and that crop deaths are not incidental, as the vegans continue to claim. They are primarily intentional. Regarding soy as a co-product, I have been saying all along that soy is a byproduct.
No, you didn't. Yeah.
I never claimed that they weren't making money with the soy meal. The fact is that right now, depending on what day of the week it is, soy meal might be making more money on Wednesday, and soybean oil might be making more money on Thursday, and vice versa. It's about 50-50 right now. And by the way, the soy industry actually started in China back in the 600s. The world didn't start with the United States. The United States is a baby compared to China as far as longevity. And soy started in China. And in the very beginning, yes, they would pile it up and burn it, or they would use it as a soil amendment, which is what I would use it for in the pastures, for helping to fortify a grazing pasture, rather than feeding it and also giving ammunition to the misanthropic vegan cult. Now, what has changed here is actually a win for Garland Farms, because now the vegans are actually admitting, at least some of them are actually admitting, that soybean meal, for instance, is a co-product, because what they used to say is that what they did was they played that weight game, because 20% of every, or 15 to 20% of every soybean is oil, and the rest is a combination of cellulose and botanical defense proteins. And so what they would say is that 80% of the soybeans are being grown to feed livestock, which is a misleading lie. We're not feeding whole soybeans to livestock for the most part. As I understand it, 5 to 7% of the soybeans that are grown are actually fed directly to livestock.
Straw man.
But the vast majority of the soybean stuffs is going to poultry and pigs, and only less than 2% of any soy product is going to cattle. So all of this blaming the cattle for soy is absolutely ridiculous. It's a huge lie. Anyone can look into that and find out that it's true. It's on the Bill and Melinda Gates Our World in Data literature
after that.
Now, Earthling Ed and Joey Carbstrong has commented on my channel and lost the debate in that
7 minutes.
attempt.
He's talking about
Both of them at this point are still claiming that the only crop deaths out there are those that involve harvesting. And they're still saying, these animals are not stupid. They have ears. They spend their lives running from predators. They're good at escaping things, so they get out of the way for the most part. But we know now that the vast majority of the animals that are killed because of crop agriculture have nothing to do with the harvesting of the crops, but have everything to do with the protection of the crops and the fertilizing crops. David Rams and Chris Hines got together. I mean, it's funny. I'm supposed to be this dumb farmer, but you have these big time animal rights and vegan activists that are forming committees and trying to debunk Garland Farms. It's hilarious, and you're failing on every level. All you did was give me a bunch of ammunition to prove that you guys are not paying attention to the dark side of crop agriculture, all of the damage and destruction that's done by it, and how unsustainable it is, and what would happen also, which is what we're going to find out today, if you were to do something like omit the soybean industry, which is what they're claiming would happen if the livestock industry was abolished. And with that, I'll yield.
Yeah, thank you so much for that opening. Right on the wire yourself. So I just want to make sure everybody knows out there in chat land, wherever you're at, do hundreds of debates in the Crucible. This is no different. Obviously, we want to give both people a fair shake in this debate. They both came in good faith, and we want to make sure that they can have this conversation correctly. But before they get into it, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, do all that YouTube shit that you're supposed to do that makes everything, run and epic and awesome. And I saw Chris Hines in the chat there. Well, Chris, I'd love it if you'd come back and do a debate with me. But in any case, appreciate very much everybody turning out tonight to watch this wonderful debate. Gentlemen, the floor is open. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
So Garland, I like
You're muted again, Jeffrey.
God, no, I'm not. Check. Check. You there? We there? I haven't touched my mic.
Yeah, there's something you're doing on your end that's
I haven't touched it
yourself, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you're doing exactly that's muting you, but
check.
You are muting yourself for sure.
Check. I'm going back and forth.
So I don't know, because maybe you're dual streaming, right? So I don't know that has something to do with it.
I haven't touched anything.
I don't know. I don't know why you keep getting muted.
I haven't touched anything the whole time.
Like, this is all.
Oh, okay.
If you think I'm muting you,
right.
I see the vegans in chat are all upset. They think I'm muting you or something. I'll give you the screen recording. It shows on this end. So
I should what should I do then? Leave mine. Okay.
I mean, that would be hilarious.